Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joe Hatagwa from Authentic African, and I just spent the last 4 years living in West Africa. I'm in Sierra Leone right now, and if you want to know why this December has been a horrible December for me here in Africa, then this is the video for you. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. And let me know where you're watching from. Today, we're going to talk about my horrible experience here in Africa. I'm in Sierra Leone right now. I've been here about 3 weeks, and I'm just going to give it to you plain and just tell you what it's been like. Lots to catch you guys up on. And so I definitely want to hear from you. All right. So we got some folks on IG saying they can hear me and they can see me. So we got Beatrice. We got DJ M is in the UK. MHM I Live can hear me nice. Um, Denelson, I don't know what country flag that is. Is that the Ugandan flag? I think it's the Ugandan flag. We got N Tyrone Tyson is in New Jersey. Shout out to N Tyrone Tyson. Black Wisdom 360, I like that name, is in the DMV. Nice. Rick Clever himself says from the USA. What part? We got Costa. What is it? Co-star. I think it's co-star. Rio de Janeiro. Nice. Joshi wrote is in Arizona. Okay. Jimnina is in the USA, but where in the USA? We got Payne with all the eyes in it in Nigeria. And Denelson, sorry, that's the Mozambican flag. I apologize. It's so tiny, I couldn't tell it. It has similar colors to the Ugandan flag, right? Am I crazy? I guess the Ugandan flag has the bird on it though, but my bad. Um, we got Carmen San Diego. Somebody calls themselves Carmen San Diego in Morocco. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Dean is from Oakland, California. Kinder is in Southwest Georgia. We got Gemnina is in North Carolina. All right, cool. Bricks Exodus is in Cali. TCB 781 says, "Yo, bro." What else? We got King Mali is in Nairobi, Kenya, from the U.S. Moved in August. Nice. Congrats to you. Made the move to the continent. Brooklyn Ibrahim is from Brooklyn, of course. You know, people from Brooklyn got to let you know they're from Brooklyn, even if it's their name on social media. All right, cool. So it looks like you guys can hear me. You guys are letting me know where you're watching from. We got Rob Blue Productions from Southside Chicago. Um, Shout out to the shy. So here we're going to talk today about my horrible experience here in Africa. I've been in Sierra Leone for 3 weeks, and I want to talk about it. Now, before we get into it, let me just be very clear. Africa is a country of now 55 member states, countries. Did I say the country of 55 countries? It's a continent of 55 member states and countries. It used to be 54. Now, many people are recognizing 55 countries in Africa. So every country is going to have its own experience, things going on in each country. My specific experience is going to be this December in Sierra Leone. And I'm going to use this time to educate you guys on some of the things that are happening here. And when you're coming to the continent, things that you should think about, especially if you're coming to a country as small as Sierra Leone. And so we're going to talk about it. And so I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware. That's setting the stage, setting the table for what we're going to talk about today. Um, so just shout out a few more people that are joining in and telling us where they're watching from, since I did ask for that. So we got what is it? Oh, sorry guys. Sorry about that. We got let's see. Anika, I can't print something. Sorry, the name is really long. I can really hardly read it. It's from West Yorkshire, UK. And then you got Kindred Others saying AES rising for sure, for sure. AES is rising. All right, cool. So let's get right into it. Look, I have had a horrible experience so far, and let me tell you why. I have been somebody who's been coming to Sierra Leone um, prior to moving to the continent of Africa. I'd come to Sierra Leone twice a year, every year, for 3 years straight, 4 years straight. I'd be here for a week at a time or so. And that was prior to even going to Ghana for the first time and then moving to Ghana for 2 years. And so my experience coming to Sierra Leone was a very cushy one. I would stay in this hotel here. Shout out to Pearl Hotel in Lumley Beach Road in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Very nice, state of the art hotel, as you can see by the artwork on this side, the television, the whole thing, right? AC is blowing in here. It's cool. You know, this is the kind of ideal scenario. So I'd spend money to stay in a place like this. I also had good friends that worked for NGOs and had vehicles. They had drivers that could come pick us up and take us to places that we needed to go. So that allowed me to kind of have the experience of a top 1% spending time in a country like this. For those of you who don't know, we don't have ride sharing services in Sierra Leone. So I'm going to speak to that in a second because that can help express what I mean about the horrible experience. So because when I was coming here, I would use ride sharing services. I kind of got used to that. And at one point in time, I was also using a vehicle that is now my vehicle. Um, but that vehicle kept breaking down and it's in another province right now. So I don't have access to that car. The friends that I had that were living here, that's part of the reason why it has been so challenging. They have now moved to the States. And so that's created a vacuum for the different events. Like, when you have a group of people who are like similar in mindset, maybe they have some Western culture, but care about being on the continent, you guys kind of want to roll together everywhere. You go to events together, whether it's like networking events, where one person can alley oop the other person for networking and introductions, or if it's nightlife, you guys can go out together. We had a friend who would pool everybody's money together for all the parties and make sure we had a table, just to make sure that when we went out together, we were all safe and we were all good, right? And when you lose one or two of those members, it really does feel like you're moving around the country by yourself. And so, it makes it challenging to enjoy the situation because I'm a firm believer of it's not really where you are, it's who you're with. Now, part of it is where you are, right? Because the environment can also add to the good time that you're having and the networking and all of that. But when you lose a couple of those key elements, or if you don't have a couple of those key elements, it does make for a horrible experience. What I mean by that is this: you go to an event alone. You have to do all the work of being, like the extroverted individual, getting out and talking to people and all of that kind of stuff, and then you don't have like a home base to go back to unless you're willing to spend an exorbitant amount of money to do so. Now, um, that is one of the biggest challenges that I have found, not having kind of one of those, like a couple of those friends that kind of pull everybody together, bring everybody together when we go to these events. The other major challenge is now that those friends are gone, transportation to and from events have become very difficult. So, in a country like Sierra Leone, if you want to rent a vehicle, you're usually renting a vehicle and a driver, and it is $100 per day minimum for most companies you're going to find. Very few companies will go down to 65 or 70 or $80. It's almost always about $100 per day. If you can find a cheaper one, you'll get lucky. But these prices have just started to go up every year. And when I first started coming here, they're about $60 per day. And again, there are no ride sharing services in Sierra Leone, meaning no Uber, no Lyft, which is Lyft is really mostly the US. I haven't really seen it anywhere else, but maybe you guys correct me if I'm wrong. There's no Bolt, which is Europe and here. There's no Zango, which is like Eastern Europe and here meaning in Africa. But none of these ride sharing services are available. And so what ends up happening is you have to take public transportation. And public transportation here is a couple of different modes of public transportation, right? So you have what we call Okada, which is like some people in Nigeria call it Okada. In Sierra Leone, sometimes you hear people call it a bike, but it's kind of like a motorbike. And those riders are known to be wild guys. You know, they when brake lights go on, they don't necessarily slow down right away. And they fly and weave in and out of traffic. And recently, there's been some tragic loss of lives of folks who have been riding those bikes. So it's a very, very dangerous mode of transportation. They also become very scarce, middle of the night, late at night, early in the morning, to be able to get that mode of transportation. That's one. The other mode of transportation we call a keke, Kehkeh. They have it in other countries too. I think I can't remember what they call them in India. I think, but they're like a tricycle with a cover over top of it, right? So it's a motorized tricycle with a cover over top of it. They have them in India as well. And so, so you guys might be familiar with that if you can kind of picture that in your head. But those also are scarce and hard to come by, middle of the night, late at night. And so, you know, these are the things that are really, really challenging when you're in a country like this and you really want to get around. And then the only other thing you can do is try to hitch a ride from a friend of yours or someone like that. But obviously, you're operating on their time. So whether they want to leave or they're ready to leave, it's going to be up to you. And so that's caused a lot of challenges for me getting around this December. I really did not take all of that into consideration, even though earlier this year it was a similar challenge in January of this year after a few friends had left, and I was still here up until April. You know, because as you guys might know, I lived in Sierra Leone from April of 2023 to April of 2024. I just recently left the continent of Africa from living on the continent full time for almost 4 years to move back to the States in April 2024. So that is what has been challenging this December. So there's a couple questions that I want to get into. So Double A Vibe says, "Glad you are well and thanks for sharing." Of course, of course. Wow, for real? Yes, the price is down. I think that was based on the price of the rental cars. Yes. Frank says, "Did you go to bowling event? How was it?" I did not go to the bowling event, but I know about 3 or 4 people that went to the bowling event. They enjoyed it. I'm a little too old, I think, for the bowling event, at least in my opinion. I would maybe stop by next year, maybe. But basically, bowling event is an event for the people, mostly college age, early 20s, mid 20s. It's a pool party at night. So everybody comes in their, you know, swimming trunks or swimming outfits, I should say, swimming suits. But I would say, you know, in this country, I think when it comes to these kinds of parties, less is more, it seems. These kinds of parties. I mean, see through everything you'll see. So people seem to like going there. But me as a 40-plus-year-old person now, I just it's not something that I'm going to be doing every year. I may go to check out the vibes, maybe go, you know, say hello to people that I know who are going, or if I know other people that are going, maybe I'll catch up with them. But no, I wasn't willing to take public transport to go to this event, not really stay long, not have a table with my group, and then to leave. So I didn't go to bowling. But bowling's a great event for those of you who are young and you want to go to something like that for sure. It's fun times. I mean, I went to bowling I think 4 years in a row in my mid or early 30s, so no problem with going to bowling. But I just at this point I'm not going. Um, Double A is talking about a trocho. Trocho is more like a van. We do have those, but I'm talking about some of the smaller modes of transportation that are a little easier to go by, and those vans are harder to find later at night. Um, so yeah, so some of my biggest challenges were those things, right? And so I want to warn all of you who are planning to come to the continent. If you're going to a country that doesn't have and so yeah, so Mr. KK is asking, how about Uber or Lyft, etc. That's what I'm saying. There are no ride sharing services in Sierra Leone. And so that speaks to the next point that I was going to make is if you're planning to come to a smaller country here on the continent of Africa, and you don't see any ride sharing services available, and that's something you can check. I think you can go to their websites and you can see what countries they operate in. Um, it is going Sierra Leone, just reminding you, you're in Sierra Leone. I think I think they put on here. So that's the one thing I would say about Pearl Hotel is light goes, the generator away. They don't play around. But unfortunately, it cut the internet off and we lost a bunch of folks when the power went out. So thanks for you guys who stayed on and staying patient. Sorry about that. Um, so yeah, no Uber, no Lyft. And so it makes it very difficult to get around, right? So, you'll have to figure out a mode of transportation when you're in a country as small as Sierra Leone. Now there's a market for Uber and Lyft, and there's a possibility that someone like myself would get it started here in this country, but it requires a lot of work to get it off the ground, and that's something that requires some work. But I've been looking into it. So Double A Vibes is saying, get to know I'm Ghanaian diaspora myself, based in the UK. Now I would say Ghana is very different. If you go to Ghana, Ghana has Uber, Ghana has Bolt, Ghana has Yango. So they have three of the major, multinational ride sharing services. And then they also have local ride sharing services from like homegrown Ghanaian tech companies in Ghana. So those options are available there in that country, different from being here. And so, that has been a reminder to me that I need to have a vehicle in this country. I did my first part by having a place to stay for free by building my own house and building a guest house on my own property. But I also need to follow that next piece and have a place or a vehicle to move around in. Um, so Africa Emerged is in the building. What's up, Africa Emerged? Um, and so Double A Vibe says, yeah, we do, but I go visit the continent as a whole, though. Okay. Let's see. Knowledge Seeker says maybe we need to go back to riding donkeys as a mode of transportation to always never fail. I mean, I don't know about donkeys, maybe horses. Donkeys are a little slow. But yeah, I mean, look, there are probably other ways to get around. I'm not too sure. I mean, you know, when people are riding on horses around town, I don't know if you realize, but something that they don't really talk about was the smell. You know, when horses walk around, they just lift their tails and you know, go number two wherever they are. So street cleaning would be a major service that'd be required. Um, there's just a lot that goes along with that. That's not even like a real option at this day and age, to be honest. It's not a real option. Um, so Double A Vibe says I need to visit more often. Of course, of course. So Tim Black had a question, and Tim Black is back. So, hey, how's it going today? It's been an interesting one. So you had a question about TAF. I haven't gotten a chance to go to the TAF estate, so let me talk to you guys about TAF. So TAF is a company that's building estates here in Sierra Leone and in Gambia, and it looks like they're looking to build in other countries as well. I have not had the chance to go to their estates as of yet, and this trip is going to be cut short. And so, unfortunately, I am not going to get a chance to go. And so, on that note, I will be letting you guys know I will be going to Ghana in a few days. So, for those of you who are in Ghana for the end of the year and you guys want to catch up, I will be in Ghana sometime this coming weekend. Booking travel, making sure that I finalize all the details shortly. But but yeah, I'll be in Ghana. So because I need to have some time to just like decompress and enjoy the what's left of this winter break. It has been a crazy December. And when I got here, I had to deal with some legal issues. And so looking forward to just kind of getting beyond that. And once I get to Ghana, it's like a whole new vibe, whole new situation. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be my real vacation. So I will be going live next Monday from Accra, Ghana. And I'll be telling you what my weekend was like in Ghana and what is on the agenda for the end of year. So the last 1 week on the continent after being here 3 weeks already so far will be in Ghana. So I'm looking forward to telling you guys about that. And I got some content I want to shoot. Um, so today I actually went to an office space called WeSpace here, shared office workspace. Was really cool owner, Maria Shalop. She and her co-founders co-founded a workspace, and it was really dope. We had a great interview, great tour. So I'm looking forward to putting out that content. And then I have some content that I'll be shooting in Ghana when I get to Ghana. So look out for that. Africa Emerge says, how the salon electricity? Well, it's okay. That's actually not bad. Let me say this. From my experience, since coming for the first time in 2009 or so, and then frequently from 2017 to 20 and through now, right? Coming and living. It had been very, very challenging to have steady electricity kind of countrywide and especially citywide in Freetown, the capital city in Sierra Leone. And it seems as that it's been a little bit more steady. Like you can sometimes go 48 hours with light and maybe like an hour or two without light. Where at times it was the exact opposite, where you go like 48 hours without light and like an hour or two with light. So things have been definitely transforming a bit over the last month or so that I've seen. And then prior to that, from what I've heard from other people, my generator, remember, you guys might remember on these live streams, I used to talk about how I have to fuel my generator all the time. I'm running that generator at all times of the day and night. It hasn't been the case like that for me for this trip. So I'm really excited to see that coming the electrification of Sierra Leone to come through and that transformation to come because fingers crossed we'll get in a place where we have more continuous light like we do in Ghana. So as Tim Black said, please hit that like button, everybody. Those of you who are watching, hit the like button. And make sure you share this with anybody who's planning to come to Sierra Leone or come anywhere in West Africa. So Frank Johnson says, what flight do you use when flying back home from the US? The Air Morocco, Brussels, or Senegal route? So Air Senegal no longer flies into Sierra Leone from New York. Sorry, guys. Again, internet, the internet. So to answer that questions, um, okay, so and there were some other questions that I need to answer here that I didn't see from Instagram. So my bad, Instagram, and I know we got cut off. That's all bad. All bad. Okay. As I was saying, you guys are more patient. The connection just went up. So what flights do I take? I don't take Royal Air Morocco. I don't actually recommend anybody ever take Royal Air Morocco. Take it off your list. It's the cheapest flight to West Africa from what I've seen from the US, but it's the cheapest for a reason. Service is terrible. Um, the lose your bags all the time. Sometimes I think I don't want to speculate, don't want to make any accusations, but they lose bags all the time. They're known for that. Like luckily I put trackers in my bag so I know where my bag is. But like yeah, I don't take Royal Air Morocco. By the way, let me show you what that tracker looks like. I had meant to show you guys before. I hope you guys can still hear me. I got my headphones on, but I want to show you what a tracker looks like so you can see. So Samsung makes them, other companies make them, and also Apple makes them. So depending on what device you have, but this is what it looks like. So the AirTag is this little device here. And then I have a case around it. I bought cases for them. You can usually unscrew this and put this on the outside of your bag. I let you know where your bags are at all times. All right, so the connection doesn't want to work for me, guys. I'm sorry. I may have to cut this live stream short because the power keeps going, or the connection keeps going in and out, and it's kind of disrupting the flow. But I will say, don't take Royal Air Morocco ever in your life. Sorry, Royal Air Morocco, but it's just the truth. I would never, ever recommend anybody ever take them. Worst experience on an airline internationally ever in my life. Never would take them ever again. In fact, it came up as an option $300 cheaper to fly with Royal Air Maroc from Ghana to the US. So yeah, I don't take that one. So I take Brussels, and then from Ghana they have a Delta flight. So I'm taking a Delta flight from Ghana when I'm leaving. Delta, 9 hours or so, or less than 10 hours, direct Delta to JFK from Accra, from Kotaka International Airport in Accra, straight to JFK. Delta flight is what I'm taking back from Ghana. But to and from Sierra Leone, um, Air Brussels tends to be probably the airline I like the best because in Brussels, you can pay $30 or maybe $50, whatever it is, to use the lounge, and I usually take a shower like as like halfway through the trip. That's the internet for you guys. Couple things really quickly. Did that house your own? I paid a contractor to build everything. All right. Last question. What country is brother in? This brother is in Sierra Leone, but I'll be in Ghana later this year in a couple of days. Any other quick questions that I can answer before we bring this thing to a close? Because my internet is so bad. In the West, we are not African. Okay, there's some arguments about being African, being black, blah 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 blah. We'll leave that to you guys to argue. Um, so yeah, so thanks guys for joining. I just wanted to give you that bit of advice. I know this is a short one, but the internet really is not stable today, and it is making it very challenging. And I don't want you guys to kind of have to deal with this. So luckily, next time I'm in Sierra, next time I'm in on live, I'll be in Ghana and I'll have better internet connection. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you guys all on the next.